Welcome to Wednesday Wisdom. My name is Emily and I'm an instructor here at Pure Yoga in Bryan, Ohio. Today, as the last part of our safety series, I want to talk to you about moving slow, and this is the idea of moving slow within our practice in order to create greater and better alignment from pose to pose. So a few weeks ago, Laura Juarez covered moving with intention from pose to pose, so engaging the core, and that there's a pose between each pose. And then a couple of weeks after that, Laura Rings covered grounding down and building a pose from the base up. So what I'm going to talk to you about is incorporating both of those ideas. So we're going to move slowly from pose to pose in order to first set our base. And as we set our base, we're going to make sure we're working through proper alignment so that the knees are insulated and bent knee postures and are tracking over the toes and ankle versus dropping side to side and putting unnecessary pressure upon that joint. And then we work our way up, strengthening from that base and coming then into the core, making sure that engagement is there as we settle into the pose. And then that same ease can be found in the shoulders opening across the chest, and then noting where are the shoulders, especially let's use the example of Warrior Two. Where are the shoulders stacking over the hips? So in Warrior Two, we want the shoulders to stay over the hips versus coming off to one side or the other. So we want to make sure that it's shoulders, ribs, and hips all in one long line. And then from there, we can create even more lightness at the top through the head, and we can turn the head whatever direction, keeping it stacked nice and tall. And creating this slower practice of building from the base and using your core, finding those poses in between each pose, is going to make sure that we're really getting into the safest position as we go from one pose to the next. So continuing with our example of Warrior Two, if we're first initially coming from downward facing dog, bringing a leg forward and then opening up, let that be a process completely led by the breath. And as you do, we inhale, often we'll lift the leg up. So let's say we're doing that. We're taking that big breath in, finding a big stretch there, and then engaging the abdominals as you pull the leg through in between the breath and settle into that base posture with the exhale. You then have an opportunity to open up into the full expression of the pose once that base is there and you've slowly moved into it. You know you're going to be practicing within safe alignment. And in some classes we don't always have or we're not given an extra breath to get into something, right? We're just flowing from one pose to the next pose. But we can still work with that intention of moving slow within the body and not getting to the end of the pose until you get to the end of the breath. That's where the slowness can occur when you're working with single breaths, is letting the pose take the entire inhale as well as the entire exhale. So I hope that makes sense to you, and I hope you'll consider moving slow in your practice in order to have greater alignment and be really safe within the poses you're going into. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to catch me at the studio or one of the other teachers. We would love to talk to you about this because we want to make sure that all of our students are practicing safely and that you feel like you have the knowledge in order to do that. I hope you have a wonderful day. Namaste.